In this video, you'll learn how to discover physical servers and virtual servers running in AWS, GCP, or any other cloud environment using the Azure Migrate appliance. Before you get started, make sure you've watched the linked video and already have an Azure Migrate project set up. Before deploying the appliance, there are a few things you need to have in place. First, make sure the appliance meets the networking requirements and can connect to all the necessary endpoints. Next, prepare your Windows and Linux servers for discovery of installed software, server dependencies, databases, and web apps by setting up least privileged user accounts. Finally, to discover SQL Server instances and databases, create least privileged credentials by following the guide linked in the description from the Azure Migrate project overview page. Click on Discover using Appliance and select the virtualization environment as Physical. Provide a name for the appliance and generate the project key using the zip file. You can convert any of your existing server that meets prerequisites into an appliance. Execute the zip file, Azure Migrate installer file as an administrator, and select the appliance type as Physical. Select the cloud type and whether the appliance will be set up with public endpoint or private endpoint connectivity. After the zip file execution is completed, the Appliance Configuration Manager web app is launched automatically. The first check ensures that you can connect to the necessary Azure endpoints if the server is running behind a proxy server. Add the proxy server details. Authentication and non-authentication type of proxy servers are supported. The time sync check ensures that the time in the appliance is in sync with Azure to ensure the discovery is done smoothly. The next step is where you register this appliance with the Azure Migrate project. Here we need to paste the project key that we had created in Azure Portal. In this step, upgrade and registration operations are executed together. By default, auto upgrade is enabled, and you don't need to worry about the management of the appliance. The next step is where you need to log in to Azure. The user account that you use here should have sufficient privileges to register the appliance to the project. After the prerequisites checks are completed, add the credentials of the Windows and Linux servers. You can enter a friendly name for the credentials, followed by username and password. Appliance communicates to Hyper-V servers using HTTPS protocol in port 5986, and if prerequisites are not met on the target servers, the communication falls back to HTTPS in port 5985. To enforce HTTPS communication over 5986, enable the checkbox and ensure that certificate prerequisites are met on the target servers. Here we need to add server details. You can either add multiple server details or import multiple server details using a CSV template. For this demo, we are a Windows and a Linux server and map the servers with their least privileged credentials. The important point to note here is that the credentials are always stored inside the appliance. The credentials are encrypted using Data Protection APIs or DPA API. That's a secure 256 encryption. The credentials added here will be used to enable software inventory and perform agentless dependency analysis. To discover SQL Server databases and web apps, you need to provide additional credentials. For this demo, we add at least privileged SQL credentials. If you are facing any issues with respect to appliance, you can execute run diagnostics to self-diagnose the issues without the need to open a support incident. After adding all the credentials, click on Start Discovery to initiate the discovery process. And it would take about 10 to 15 minutes for the data to reflect in Azure Portal. Here are the next steps after the completion of discovery to prepare for migration of these servers. Download the replication appliance. Watch the next video in the series to explore the discovered inventory from Azure Portal, to troubleshoot issues from Action Center, and to create a business case.